Um, so,
Hi guys, so my name is Scout Mary, and today I'll be talking about the adoption of animals from shelters and why it's so important to adopt. More specifically, I'll be talking about rescue organizations and a rescue organization that's very important to me called the Little Shelter. So I partially chose this topic just because I wanted an excuse to talk about my animals, but it's also something I'm very passionate about. So I've had a lot of experience with adoption. I have 3 pets, 2 dogs and a cat, and all 3 of them have come from shelters. They're the greatest pets, and that's partially why I chose this, to just show people that adopting animals and shelter pets just make great pets. So all 3 of my animals have come from a shelter where I live in New York called the Little Shelter. And I love this shelter for many reasons. The first is that they're a non-kill shelter, so that means that they don't kill their animals, or they don't euthanize their animals if they can't get adopted. And then the second reason is going along with that is if their animals can't get adopted, they go to this place called a sanctuary. And I'm just going to read you what the website says about their sanctuary. It says, resting on 110 acres of rolling hills, fields, and streams in upstate New York, at the Little Shelter Animal Sanctuary, animals live in rooms styled more like apartments or homes to provide comfort and peace in a relaxing environment. Each dog has its own furnished room painted to suit the dog's personality, and there's a 2.5-acre pond on the property for the dogs to swim in. The animals who for various reasons are not adoptable are sent to the sanctuary to live out their life in peace. So I don't know about you guys, but if I was a dog, that would sound very appealing to me, to have a room style to fit my personality. So I just think that's really cool that they do that. Some shelters don't do that, so I just persuade you guys to find a shelter that is a non-kill shelter. So with adopting a pet from an animal shelter, there are many benefits. The first is just that it obviously improves your mood. People who have pets studies have been shown that they're just happier overall. They're just happier people, they're just full of joy more than people who don't have pets. So they improve the health and the mood of humans. They also help us to make healthy lifestyle changes. So when you have a dog, you gotta, go out and take it for a walk. So they just help us to be more active and to just get out and play. Obviously, they also provide companionship. They always say dog is man's best friend, so they just provide companionship. Going along with like taking your dog out for a walk, they also are a great social icebreaker. So you're going out and taking your dog for a walk, and someone will pass you and they'll say, "Oh my God, your dog is so cute, can I pet it?" And then you guys will strike up a conversation. They reduce anxiety, they add routine, which is good for humans, and they're also a great stress reliever. People with pets are also generally more trusting and just less lonely in their life and happier overall. So there's many reasons to adopt from a shelter. The first and the most obvious is that you're giving a second chance to a deserving animal. You're also breaking the cycle of pet overpopulation. So every year, 9 to 12,000 million dogs and cats are euthanized just because there's not enough room for them in shelters. The next reason is that you won't be supporting cruel practices such as puppy mills and mass breeding. The next reason is that adopting animals is much more cost effective. It's a lot cheaper than buying them from a store or a breeder. Adopting can cost anything from a few, maybe $100, $200, depending on the shelter, and then a pet store or a breeder can cost you upwards of $1,000. So some older animals also come house trained. I know BD's trained. So if you're looking for like a more leisurely or easier pet, you don't have to go for a puppy. You can go for an older dog. They have animals all ages at shelters, so you can go for like a 9-year-old dog who will just kind of chill and, he'll already be house trained, so that's great. Also, there's a wide variety that you won't be able to find by a breeder. A breeder will just carry that one breed. But a shelter, they have mutts of every kind, every mixed, breed. Most shelters also include vaccinations. They include spaying and neutering, and they include microchipping. A lot of them now are including microchipping. Both of my dogs have microchips, which is great because if they get lost, you can find them. And that usually won't come with a pet store or a breeder. Another reason is that you're just supporting your community. You're getting the name out there, and you're influencing others to adopt. They see this great new cat or dog that you have, and you start talking about it, and you can influence them to adopt their next animal from the shelter. There's a lot of misconceptions about adopting and about shelter pets. So I'm going to talk about the 5 common myths about them and why they're not true. So the first myth is that you don't know what you're getting. While this is somewhat true, a lot of shelters will know about the dog or the animal that's there. They'll know something about it. They'll either know what the mother was or how the animal got there. So you will know some background on the information. Some background on the animal, sorry. And while this is true, sometimes that's part of the fun of adopting. It's a surprise, and you'll get lucky most of the time and just turn out with a great animal. The second myth is that you can't find what you're looking for at a shelter. Most shelters get in approximately 9,000 different kinds of dogs every year, so that's just not true, obviously. And there's also breed-specific rescues out there. So if you want a certain breed, you can go to that breed-specific rescue, such as they have a greyhound rescue for greyhounds who used to race and who can no longer race, or they were taken out of it because it was cruel. So you can go to a greyhound rescue and get a nice greyhound. The third myth is that an animal is in a shelter because it didn't make a good pet. This is not true at all. Most of the reasons that pets are in shelters have nothing to do with the actual animal themselves, and there's a lot of statistics that you can look up as the percentages of why animals are in shelters, and it's less than 5% of them are actually in shelters because of the animal. A lot will have to do with either allergies, or because there were kids in the house, or because just the animal didn't get along with another pet or something like that. The fourth myth, also that the owners had to move or relocate and the pet wasn't allowed into the new place. The fourth myth is that pets from abusive homes will not make a good pet. This isn't true. Most animals from abusive homes will make a full emotional recovery. And the fifth and last myth is that shelter pets have a hard time adjusting to a new home. This isn't true. Most shelter pets bond more strongly to a new family. So where are your pets coming from? Where are these puppies coming from if they're not coming from a shelter? They're coming from puppy mills. And the 2 primary sales of puppy mills are the internet and pet stores. So the problem with puppy mills is they put the profit of the animal over the health of the animal. So they practice a lot of cruel things, such as they don't practice humane euthanasia. The animals are usually in 24-hour confinement with little to no veterinary care. The shipping conditions, these animals are shipped across the United States, and about half of the animals shipped don't make the trip. This also has to do with, this also does with breeding. Breeding disrupts evolution and just natural selection as a whole. Inbreeding especially causes health and behavioral problems. So for the health problems, a lot of breeds will have certain health problems. So for example, Dalmatians are very common to have deafness, and then boxers are very common to have heart disease. These animals are bred for their physical traits, which can lead to many dangerous health consequences, as we talked about. Overbreeding of the pug, for example, has caused multiple respiratory diseases. So you know how pugs have that sound when they breathe? That's because of just the overbreeding. And then many purebreds also have distinct behavioral issues. So you can go on the internet and you can look up, the behavioral type of a golden retriever. And a list of things will come up, and that will be for almost every breed. You can find the exact behavior of that breed, which you won't get with a mutt. They're much more just well-rounded overall. So for my conclusion, I just want to tell you guys that shelter pets make wonderful